On a day when we should have actually just spoken about the budget, the highlights, what have you got, what does this mean in the run-up to the big elections of 2024 that is just now a few months away, there is another story not very far from Delhi that has been making headlines. This is about what's really happening in Jharkhand. Jharkhand, remember, otherwise is a small state. But Jharkhand is one of the states that was not ruled by the BJP. But then there was a chief minister there who apparently is dealing with serious charges of corruption. So Hemant Soren is arrested late last evening. Close to about 9:30 is where the agency called the Enforcement Directorate confirms his arrest. Now post that, it's about 8 p.m. that we are meeting right now and putting out this broadcast. The state of Jharkhand has no chief minister. Neither has the state been put under governor's rule. So who really is calling the shots in the state? On your screen is a video that has been released by the Gathbandhan there that comprises of the JMM, that is a Jharkhand Mukti Morcha, that is being led by Hemant Soren. He, remember, now is no longer the chief minister. He's been put under arrest. The Congress, the RJD and the NCP. Now, this is a video that the entire Mahagathbandhan has released earlier, and they all count these MLAs. These are about 43 of them that you see on your screens. The assembly there has a majority mark of 41. It's an 81 assembly seat. One seat is vacant. And this entire combination, they claim, has the number of 43. So they say we have 43 MLAs. They go to the governor. They say we are ready. And this is the list of all the MLAs with us. And they've also said that we are ready for a parade in case the governor wants it. But what has the governor said? There has been complete silence from the Raj Bhavan so far. All that we heard that has come in from these MLAs who went and met with the governor is the fact that he needs a little bit more time to study, and then he will tell us what is the next course of action. Now, in the middle of all this, in the last 1 hour, there has been hectic activity that has been reported at the Ranchi airport. You must have guessed it, horse trading. Now, is the condition there conducive for horse trading? The BJP is alleging that a lot of their MLAs are incommunicado. They do not have the numbers that they try to show. But this Mahagathbandhan says we have the numbers, but they are running so scared right now that they have packed off their MLAs in a bus first to the airport, and then they are headed to Hyderabad, is what we are learning. So the story is moving very fast. And just in this last 1 week, you've seen that government change happening in Bihar, where Nitish Kumar is sworn in as the chief minister. Once he exits the Mahagathbandhan there, moves on to the BJP in just 3 hours. And who has forgotten what happened in Maharashtra, where once Devendra Fadnavis and Ajit Pawar, remember, took oath at 5 a.m. in the morning. So what is happening in Jharkhand is the governor letting a situation continue that promotes horse trading. We are putting a spotlight on that big story. Before I make way to listen into a lot of reactions, I want to begin this show by getting a very special guest with us, PDT Achari, who's a former Secretary General of the Lok Sabha. He's joining us live only to put in spotlight what we are seeing right now. Sir, good evening and thank you for speaking to us in Republic. I'm sure you must be well aware of what's happening in the state of Jharkhand. The opposition there, that is the BJP, says we must give the governor enough time so that he can make up his mind. But on the other side, the JMM, Congress, the RJD combined say that the governor right now is ensuring that horse trading is promoted. So what is your reading or what's going on, sir?
Actually, when the chief minister resigns, the governor advises him to continue in office till an alternative arrangement is made. This is the usual practice which is followed by all the governors whenever a chief minister resigns. The reason is that under Article 163 of the Constitution, there has to be a council of ministers to advise the governor in exercise of his constitutional functions. Now, this means there shall always be a council of ministers available to advise the governor, which also means the governor cannot act independently. the governor cannot Council of Ministers.
Okay, so I think
Without
by
the
mistake
advice of
you've
the Council
muted
of
yourself.
Ministers, the governor cannot act. And that is why the existence of a Council of Ministers is very necessary. And that is why the governor advises the outgoing chief minister to continue in office. Because when a chief minister resigns, the entire cabinet, entire Council of Ministers also goes. We cannot have a situation where there is no Council of Ministers in existence to advise the governor. So that is the situation. I don't know whether the governor has advised the chief minister, the outgoing chief minister, Mr. Soren, to continue in office, because that is something which the governor is required to do under the constitution. And after that, the governor will certainly engage himself in finding who can form the government which will be durable. In fact, I must also make it clear that the majority of a leader who is appointed as the chief minister shall be decided by the House, because that test will have to be done by the House and not by the governor. Governor acts on a certain impression or certain information that he gets. For example, the party which has the largest number or which has the majority in the House, or a combination of parties, they go to the governor and stake a claim, and they say that these are the members who are with me. I have the majority in the House, so I may be sworn in as the chief minister. Naturally, the governor, he goes by the list, and after that, he will ask him to come and he will be sworn in as the chief minister. Then, of course, the governor will ask him to prove his majority on the floor of the House. This is the process. And I do not know why this process has not been gone through in Jharkhand, or why there is so much of delay. I do not know. I do not want to, in any case, I do not want to comment on the political aspect of it. I was just commenting on the constitutional aspect.
Okay. Okay, I think what you said, sir, is very important. And my the next follow-up question, that's also going to be my last question, is that there are no reports right now that Hemant Soren has been asked to continue as a caretaker chief minister. So in that case right now, who's in charge of Jharkhand? Because Champai Soren, who's the JMM pick and the Gadbandhan pick, walks into the Raj Bhavan. They say we have 43 MLAs. Now, after the Bombay judgment, we know it's very clear that a floor test is going to be the ultimate test, which will prove whether, any government has a majority or not. But the very fact that there is a delay, do you believe this is unconstitutional, sir?
Well, if what you say is right, that is, the governor has not asked Mr. Soren to continue in office till an alternative arrangement is made, then there is a constitutional crisis. Because there is no Council of Ministers, and the governor cannot act on his own, and the governor cannot take over the government unless the president takes over the government. That means the president's rule. Only then the governor gets the authority to run the government. Otherwise, the governor on his own cannot run the government without the aid of the Council of Ministers. So if the Council of Ministers the chief minister outgoing chief minister has not been asked to continue in office, and the president's rule has not been imposed, that means there is a constitutional crisis. And the governor is simply answerable for this.
Okay, I think you make a lot of, these things very clear. Something that has been in the conversation, sir, for the last many hours. I thank you for your time, PDT Achari, who is actually clearing the air on what can happen, what should happen. The former Secretary General of the Lok Sabha, he's telling us what the Constitution says. Thank you, sir. Look forward to talking to you again. And let me also introduce a panel of guests. And Guru Prakash, spokesperson of the BJP. Nikhil Jain is an advocate. He's a political analyst. He also leans towards the Congress. We also have Tanuj Khatri, who's a spokesperson of the JMM. Thank you to all of you gentlemen for being patient as we were speaking to PDT Achari. So Guru, let me ask you what a lot of people today are saying. Do you believe the governor and the silence of the governor, Guru, might create a situation for horse trading? I mean, In Bihar, you have Nitish Kumar who goes in. Within 15 minutes, he's, given the appointment. He goes in later. There is an oath taking. We know what happened in Maharashtra is also what the opposition alleges. Why is it taking so long for the governor to respond to the situation in Jharkhand? Guru.
Deepthi, we need to understand a couple of things first. It's not appropriate to compare the situation in Jharkhand to the situation in Bihar, point number one, which is very different because there is no allegation of corruption on the sitting Chief Minister of Bihar. On the other hand, in Jharkhand, you have a sitting Chief Minister who is facing an allegation of a gross violation of principle of natural justice. Sitting on the chair, you have not only operated on conflict of interest, you have allotted a mine to yourself. There are cases of disproportionate assets as well.
But he's arrested, no, Guru. He's arrested, he's resigned.
Do we... No. No, the point is, you are comparing. See, Deepthi, you are comparing a situation. It's like comparing apple and oranges. It's an inappropriate comparison.
I'm just talking
Deepthi,
about the situation about government formation.
It is absolutely not the case that is in Bihar.
I'm just speaking about the delay in government formation.
I agree with you, but the question... No, that is the discretion of the governor. That is the discretion of the governor if the leader-elect of the Jharkhand Mukti Morcha has the confidence, he can go and parade it. There is absolutely no bar on it. But if the governor wants to study the situation, if the governor wants to closely assess, examine what's going on, because you and I, the entire country is very well aware of the fact that the Chief Minister was on the run. The Chief Minister was not able to locate. Where is he hiding? So I think it's a very peculiar, it's a very different situation in Jharkhand right now. And the governor, in my limited opinion, has every right to assess, evaluate, examine, and then take a call on anything. And absolutely, the people who are comparing the situation in Bihar and Jharkhand, it's absolutely not appropriate because the situation in Bihar was completely different, like the situation in Jharkhand. The Chief Minister is facing gross violation. We need to understand.
Okay. You say there is no way, Nikhil, that you can compare what's happened in Bihar to what's happened in Jharkhand. Now, that is, Guru's way of responding to this. It's also good to have Monojit with us, and we are trying to get Tanuj, who represents the JMM, also with us in this conversation. But Nikhil, what is the problem? I mean, if the governor is taking some time to respond to what is going on, the point is that you're running scared, and that's the reason why you've packed your MLAs, and we are learning they are moving on to Hyderabad.
Why is it that when the BJP engages in all these unconstitutional acts, their appointed governors engage in all these unconstitutional acts, we are going around blaming the opposition for being scared? It is the people of the country who should be scared that today the government of India is one that is willing to toss the constitution into the bin. The governor has no right to examine or assess or study the situation. He can go and do that in his study room. It is not his legal right. PDT Achari, who is the constitutional expert on this, has already made that clear. The difference between the Bihar situation and Jharkhand situation is that in Jharkhand, you have one political party which has a clear single majority, and that party's people are not being allowed to make a government. That is being delayed. While in Bihar, you had one person who was the chief minister, resigns, then goes again and says, "Mujhe dobara chief minister banna hai." Ek aisa dal ka neta,
so do you
one political party leader who does not have any majority.
Okay, very quickly, do you fear that where, Nitish Kumar walks out of the alliance, do you fear Jharkhand is going to be that one state where the IND alliance will be losing its government? Do you fear that?
Absolutely not. See, if the BJP imposes a governor's rules, then a president's rules converts Jharkhand into a union territory, and the matter languishes in the Supreme Court for 10, 20, 30, 40 years, then I can't say. But if any constitutional process is followed, if there is any modicum of democracy left in this country, I am sure the India Alliance, the JMM and the Congress and other partners are going to keep the government intact. They can throw Hemant Soren in jail, they can throw Arvind Kejriwal in jail, they can throw Rahul
Now the BJP, I will get in Monojit and Guru quickly, but Nikhil, I have to ask you one thing. The BJP and Nishikant Dubey is alleging that multiple of these MLAs right now are incommunicado. They do not even support Champai Soren, and that is why you don't have the numbers. That is what
BJP usually says that their MLAs हमारे साथ बातचीत कर रहे हैं. अमित शाह अभी थोड़े दिन में अमित शाह का बयान आएगा, वो बोलेंगे हमारे साथ बातचीत कर रहे हैं. And somehow this is seen as Chanakya Niti in this country, that elected representatives of the people are taking 10, 50, 100.
Are your MLAs up for sale? Are your MLAs up for sale? Because this is a question that should go out to all political parties, no?
Yeah.
If it's a question of ideology or your MLAs are up for sale, that you need to, pack them and ensure that they move out to a Congress-ruled state.
First of all, nobody is saying that these MLAs are sellable. Some MLAs are sellable. Eknath Shinde's faction, we know how things moved. I can't make any factual claims on your show because nobody knows. वहाँ पर ED कभी नहीं जाएगा. Everybody in the news circles, in the political circles has heard of those figures. 25 crore per MLA, 50 crore per MLA. But the BJP is never going to answer. ये 50 crore, 25 crore, 100 crore per MLA, हजारों करोड़ आ कहाँ से रहे? राहुल गांधी की एक टी-शर्ट पे, people have prime time debates कि राहुल गांधी ने 40,000 रुपए की टी-शर्ट पहन ली. ये कोई नहीं पूछता कि 65 लाख रुपए के चार्टर जेट कैसे बुक होते हैं. ये कोई नहीं पूछता कि पूरा का पूरा 5-star कैसे बुक होता है. BJP is using illegal money to
have you given up? Okay. I do understand your compulsions right now because you're sitting here and I think you in your heart do not even know whether your government is going to survive in the state of Jharkhand or not.
You're seeing the parade on your show.
Okay. But the point is, see, this parade and these images hold no value, and Guru will also vouch for this. After the Bombay judgment, it's very clear that a floor test is the only way to ensure that whether a government is a majority or not. That point is valid. That point is valid.
Governor is not letting the floor test happen.
Okay, you're saying the governor is, indulging in these delaying tactics. Before I let Guru respond to this, and I also want to check with our team if we can get the JMM spokesperson with us. But Monojit, is this already the defeatist attitude of the INDA alliance? The other day, Mallikarjun Kharge said, "Agar Modi ji dobara aayenge, to elections band ho jayenge." Now, Nikhil and a lot of other players right now in Jharkhand are running scared because what if they lose their government?
I am not at all scared.
You represent the Congress, so you're running scared.
I am not at all scared. I am clearly saying that if the government is not imposed, the government
is what about the very serious charges of corruption? Corruption has, it seems, united all of you also.
So how did you make Hemant Soren the Chief Minister, who was one of the most corrupt Chief Ministers in the country? How did you make government with Meghalaya's party, with whom you fought the election few months back only? The Prime Minister called him the most corrupt government. Ajit Pawar, 36,000 crore ka Gotala, National Corrupt Party of India. What are you talking
right
about?
Now, why don't you respond about Hemant Soren? Do you believe Hemant Soren is corrupt?
Yes.
Do you believe
when I talk about Hemant Soren,
should withdraw
when you talk about no, I know these are very uncomfortable questions for you and the BJP. When you talk about Hemant,
no, Monojit,
why do you leave
have
out
to please appreciate
Hemant?
my position. I have limited time. I have limited time, and we are talking about Hemant Soren. We are talking of the constitutional crisis in Jharkhand. What is your advice to Nikhil and the RJD combined here, the JMM?
This is a chaos that has been made by the governor, deliberately so. But there is judgment from the Supreme Court. You mentioned Isar Mumbai judgment that the floor is the only way to show your strength. What are you talking about? This Champai Soren has been elected the leader of the legislative party. She is heading the largest political party in the state. He should be immediately given the charge and later go for the floor test, which he doesn't need to either. I mean, did you ask Nitish Kumar to go for the floor test? You did not call the largest party there to form the government. Did you wait for even 24 hours to form the government?
He's been given a date for a floor test. Otherwise, just being very factually correct with that, he will ultimately also will have to prove those numbers. But Guru, you need to respond to these charges that have been raised by both Nikhil and Monojit, and also what PDT Achari said. He said, in what capacity today is the governor, even running the state of Jharkhand? Either you ensure that there is president's rule, that means the center intervenes, or the governor here decides whether Champai Soren and his list of 43 MLAs that he's given to him, he has confidence in that or not, and he should tell them to prove their numbers on the floor of the house, Guru.
No, Deepthi, as far as the mandate of the governor is concerned, I would sincerely request both my friends to read on the constitution and the power of governors. The governor is constitutionally mandated to oversee the formation of a new government. The governor has to assess the situation. The governor has to be very comfortable. But I don't understand. I did not speak when you were speaking.
Monojit, wait. Let him respond, then you can counter him, please, one by one. Guru.
No, that is the sanskar of Trinamool Congress. He cannot help it. He wants to bring the Gundaism on the studio as well. That is not going to happen. So please listen to it, Monojit. When you were speaking, no one interfered. Please have the grace and the patience to listen to other people as well. Go read on the constitution, on the role of the governor. The governor has every right to assess. The governor has every right to examine the situation. When you don't have the majority, when you are not comfortable, when you don't have the confidence that you can parade the required numbers at the Raj Bhavan, then how can you say? How do you have the audacity to say that you can form the government? And for a Congress party, Deepthi, the country is very well aware of the fact
but
that
are you also not twisting the facts? See, they have presented a list of 43. The only test then of that number is going to be on the floor of the House. Wait, please. Let's not get personal. Let Guru respond to that. Monojit, I will give you the last word.
Dheeraj Sahu.
Guru, you can finish your point.
No. So, yeah, I was just finishing a point that for a party that demigodifies Mr. Dheeraj Sahu, and Mr. Dheeraj Sahu is the same person, a Congress member of Parliament from Rajya Sabha, so they are lecturing us on corruption, they are lecturing us on hoarding of money, they are lecturing us on 65 lakh rupees ka jet, so they have to understand. Your party, sir, 3 बार कांग्रेस पार्टी ने जिनको चुनाव लड़वाया, जिनके घर जब ईडी का छापा पड़ता है तो वहां पे मशीनें खराब हो जाती हैं लेकिन नोट की गिनती होती रहती है। ये वही व्यक्ति जो अपने इलेक्शन एफिडेविट में अपनी कुल संपत्ति 30 करोड़ बताता है लेकिन उसके परिसर में 300 करोड़ से अधिक का पैसा मिलता है। And now when the corruption is being investigated, you have a problem with it? I don't understand. This is beyond my comprehension. Constitutionally,
No, Guru,
legally,
no one has
you
a
are from the
problem
Supreme
with
Court.
corruption.
You
It
are
needs
not
to be
going decide
investigated.
what
Guru, the issue is about who really is calling the shots right now in Jharkhand. Jharkhand today does not have a chief minister, neither is it under the president's rule.
Does Champai Soren has the comfortable majority? The question is that the governor is trying to assess that situation. Champai Soren ji ke paas vidhayak hai to jaiye na
That can
sarkar
only be
wale usko
proved,
bata.
Guru, on the floor of the House.
Look at
If the BJP believes that you have the numbers, you should go and approach the governor.
I think Guru thinks that will be
Wait.
proved in Nagpur.
Deepthi,
What is it talking
Wait,
about? Look at this
Monojit,
beautiful man.
Monojit.
One can only
10
pity this
seconds, Guru,
person and
complete
the
your
party
point,
that he
please.
represents.
10 seconds, Guru.
No, it's my turn now. It's my turn now.
Jharkhand Mukti Morcha, Rashtriya Janata Dal and Congress.
No, Monojit, I will come back to you. You please interrupted him. I've asked him a question. Let him respond. Let him respond.
No, Deepthi, one final submission I have to make. Today, as of now, Jharkhand Mukti Morcha, Rashtriya Janata Dal and Indian National Congress, they collectively do not have the confidence that they can form government, they can form the majority in Jharkhand. That is clearly the case. And hence, so many people are saying that we don't have the numbers, we don't have the comfortable majority. That is precisely the reason. Why are you accusing the governor? The governor, Deepthi, is an institution of the constitution.
Guru
By
continues to
insulting the governor,
maintain
you're insulting the
that the
constitution
JMM,
as well.
Congress,
By
NCP,
insulting the
CPIML
governor,
and the
you are
RJD
attacking
combined does not have the number. Monojit, you will get the last 10 seconds.
I mean, I can only
10
pity this
seconds.
person and the party that he represents. 48 out of 61 seats belong to this political formation. And he's saying that they do not have the majority.
Arey bhai, tu kahan
I mean,
hai?
I pity this
Where are your
governor.
MLAs, sir?
These
Where are your
governors
MLAs?
are
You don't have the
gundas.
confidence,
These
sir.
governors are
Where are your
gundas in the
MLAs?
name of the
Aapki vidhayak
constitution.
kahan hai?
Arey, stop now lecturing.
Monojit, governor is a constitutional position, Monojit. Please, I will advise you restrain, please. Monojit, see, the problem is that all these political parties, you can't vitiate the atmosphere like this. The governor is a constitutional chair. You have a problem, please approach the courts. Monojit, please. These personal battles, this acrimony does not work. People watch it. You want to play the martyr card? Play that. Go down to the streets and say what the governor is doing with the Gathbandhan is wrong. Approach the courts. But Guru, you must also think whether, you are overdoing the entire situation is also a sentiment that a lot of people say. Okay, Monojit, I've completely run out of time. We will keep our focus on what's going on. Monojit maintains this is murder of democracy. But Guru says give the governor time, he will respond. Okay, we thank... All right, we thank all of you gentlemen. Monojit, thank you so much.